afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. We're off here to an exciting 1 versus 1 on La Glaze breakout in the southern half of the map. We shall be watching Korean Army here fighting for the Soviet Union. Taking it here for the 2nd Tank Corps, going up versus Garzia here, fighting for the 1st Infantry Division, East Prussian. Dual Pioneers out there, Infantry Company up. We're noting Rifle Guard, Motor and Mechanized support here for Korean Army. All three with Guards Infantry, which is definitely going to make things a lot trickier for Garzia to figure out what doctrine could he finally have gone for, because in all cases there will be Guards Infantry, in which case Guards Infantry will not be much of an indicator. Noting, by the way, they've all got infantry bulletins. For Garzia, we are noting mobile defense, assault support, and mechanized assault. Of course, there's a bit of emphasis there on Tigers. But beyond that, they are notably different in what they offer and can provide. First Coast Squad, they're arriving. Noting, of course, that Garzia, then, of course, the 2 Pioneers start there, is opting to grab a ton of territory for the Reich, for Germany, to defend the borders of Eastern Germany. We cannot let those Russians walk into Prussia. Or Eastern Prussia, anyways. Back here to Korean Army, 3rd Country Squad on the way here. Maybe aggressive move here towards the munitions, but also here it's a rather sort of vital point, sort of getting towards the fuel and sort of guarding things here. So interesting start up there for Korean Army. Aggressive, bold, could certainly throw off a German player there quickly, or at least sort of derail him a bit. Quickly falling back into the building. The Pioneers going in aggressively. Could be that Garzia himself got some plans of some aggressive harassment, going straight for his opponent's fuel. Very interesting, very interesting. Sneak about here, realize what's going on there, maybe. They're trying to draw his opponent into something else. Oh, Country was actually closing in. They're not taking up in a building right here. You would imagine that instead. Ooh-rahing now towards the building, but yeah. Side of the Pioneers not closer to a lot of damage. More goes around there. Pioneers getting the combat engines over here. Quickly turning against the combat Pioneers. No, the combat's actually pulled back despite everything. Victory Germany. Pulling back here. Not going to engage the Country yet. Moving on here. Might take up position in the building instead. Fall behind. The Country was that way and catching them out in the open in the village centre by the market square. Countries attack up from the south here. Pioneers to cover the flank. Maybe not the retreat. This battle is rapidly sort of switching around already here. Some interesting infantry tactics overall. Avoidance where the opponent is too strong, shifting towards a situation that might benefit either player better. So very interesting there, very interesting there. 3rd Grenadier Squad here for Garzia. Pioneers still forced away by the conscripts. 4th Country Squad on the way. Grenadiers attacking from the north. Country slowly being bled out here. The Grenadiers slightly enjoying advantage here. Slightly but lightly. Though of course that's soon about to change. Korean Army has stocked up on the frangibles of Fury Doom. And there go the Grenadiers quickly realise what's going on. He does retreat. Grenadiers still coming from the northern series of buildings here, apartment block or whatever. And conscripts are finally forced away there. The fighting for the centre is very harsh. The troops are going. Interesting here to note, Garzia hasn't really managed to take a lot of the territory so far. It's been sort of rather sort of weaving about, trying to sort of get some good engagement so far. Korean Army sort of been able to sort of keep him off that. So it's a bit interesting to note. And so the question is, how will you try and get out of this mess? A 4th Grenadier Squad on the way here. A bit rare to see that many bits. And there go. Country take up position there, catching most of the troops here between 2 hard points. Forcing the Grenadiers away again. I mean, overall, it's a bit of a struggle here. For Garzia so far takes territory. There go Molotov. There's the Grenadiers on the outlying flank. More guys attacking forwards. And there you go. Flaming effort for the Pioneers. Going to burn out those Russians there from the house or building, whatever. Some matching up there. Another building occupied, in this case less beneficial. On the 2 windows they can be shot at, so they can quickly take up there. But of course, the conscripts will then hold up positions here, flanking the Grenadiers and hiding them cover. Though, if you don't get the Grenadiers got time for the south, this is very rapidly changing hands. And again, Garzia is certainly lacking something, and also the way he's sort of playing is to a certain extent, you know, while it is avoiding a certain amount of damage, it's also avoiding actually gaining any territory. He's going to need to make a stand. And there go Molotov straight on the 2 Grenadier Squads there, forcing another retreat. This is looking very ugly, not very friendly. And a 5th Grenadier squad. He's really pouring it in with infantry. It's some time since I've actually seen a player go that heavy into Grenadiers. This is definitely unusual. This is definitely unusual. And there you go, counter goes forced away. Troops moving out. It looks like, there we go, Garzia has now managed to somewhat break the stranglehold here of Koreanarmy. The question is, of course, for how long. And he now has a better chance of maybe setting a perimeter and also keeping Koreanarmy from pushing him too hard. Though Koreanarmy still keeps up the pressure with a few combat engineers hanging about doing the job there. And again, rushing about from building to building. Of course, noting here that Garzia is very much lacking in think and sort of push him out of the buildings, whereas Koreanarmy with the Molotovs, but there's an excellent method there for pushing out Garzia from any buildings he might try and take up positions in. So it creates a bit of an unfriendly dynamic here between the two. And now we are seeing guards mode up here, and we're noting here immediately a heavy mortar. That's going to blow whatever doctrine he has chosen out of the way, ensure there's no doubt about what he has gone for. Since there's only, well, about 3 doctrines, and only about 1 of them has also guards infantry. Quick thing up to there, flying there to the right. France goes forced away. Blow back, and there we go. Yuri catches on the fire, trying to roll there. Sadly, no relief. Since there was in fact fake snow right there in front of the building. Constantly down in from the Grenadiers. Bit of damage. There we go. Molotov going to break up that position. Constantly cross it. Grenadiers in fact dealing with them. And looks like, ooh, the heavy mortar fires, shattering apart there of the corner cafe. Molotov is lighting the boxes on fire. Damn those fascist boxes. Moving through the marketplace here. Garzia once more pushed off. He's definitely lacking a bit in support weapons or any sort of machine gun support in that regard. No light machine guns either. No upgrades, no nothing. Certainly could maybe consider instead mechanized assault, and he's thrown in a few assault guns in these close quarters. They might have a slightly chance there. Anyways, up with a light mechanized company. Grenadiers reinforcing, healing. And there you go, 5 squads. It's also quite a bit of manpower. He constantly has to sort of reinforce and replace.
Guards troops ready for action.
Certainly a bit of a rare Wehrmacht assembly right there. And now we got some regular guards infantry as well here from Koreanarmy.
Capturing our supplies.
You got the heavy mortar there firing away, a bit of harassment on the left flank. Mines covering the approach there. Whatever shall Garzia do to break out of this rather unfortunate start? I mean, on the bright side, he's yet to lose a single infantry squad, so that's something. But on the other hand, he's also bled out a bit, while also bleeding out his opponent, but still territorially he's in trouble. Mine there as well, going to make it difficult to get directly there at the fuel. Looks like we're going to see a larger approach towards the left flank. Grenadiers slightly operating on the right. That's definitely a notable German infantry force. They're 1 pioneer, 3 grenadiers. Vorwärts, Leute! Get up the hill! But I'm tired, Herr Sergeant! Shut up! Bit of quiet there, the hay mortar so far firing a bit wildly. I mean, he's hoping to catch something, but so far he's not paying much luck. You know, it looks like they dodged the mines right there. Their Wehrmacht sense was tingling. And they're ambushing the conscripts right here. Molotov though. A bit of hold tactics there from Garzia, hoping maybe to catch an spread out opponent. A bit blobbing there, actually. Needs to be careful with that. I mean, a good strike from the heavy mortar could definitely cause him quite a bit of grief there. Pioneers thing up in the flank building, burning down the guards infantry, trying to hide there in the bushes, not quite successfully from them. Well, flame thrown, looks like more going to be reinforced. The left flank mortar go down there, almost wiping out the conscripts themselves. That is not the socialist way. Roughneck going off there, fire pouring down from the windows. Hopefully not hitting the curtains, otherwise things are about to get a lot unpleasant in there. Guards in trouble. They have up and upgraded DP's mortar gone left and right. An inferno here on the left side, and there we go. Guards in the force away. Pioneers going to catch them off, maybe on retreat. Heavy mortar rods got closer, hitting its own. And there we go, looks like he somehow managed to slightly counter-attack there. Although he might want to spread out again. I mean, that was an incredibly risky move considering there was a heavy mortar on the field. Very risky, and that could easily have ended up in tears there for Garzia. But over to Garzia here, and he's got mechanized assault, now he's adding assault grenadiers. He's got 6 infantry squads, so this is definitely turning into quite the infantry fight so far. We are noting here, I mean, an equal amount of German infantry versus an equal amount of Soviet infantry, and the German infantry is actually struggling, in particular without support weapons. I mean, that does highlight some interesting bits there. In particular with the Molotovs, the Russians really possess a quick method for causing quite a little harm there to the grenadiers and forcing them to at least relocate. But assault grenadier, an assault party formed from a cadre of veterans from the 1st Infantry Division. Quick counterattack to regain the fuel there. But certainly, I mean, we note here that Korean army so far has managed to gain quite a bit of fuel. Not really advantageous here for Garzia. The question is, of course, how will Garzia sort of handle all this infantry? How will he sort of try to gain back and sort of really hold some terrain? He should at the very least maybe consider some light machine guns for some of the grenadiers. Country's moving ahead there. Quick Molotov again to force them out of the cover. Garzia setting up to flank. Quick fallback here. Right flank is now sort of seeing more action as things are shifting away from the left. The soldiers moving in there, setting up some cover. They need to close in here right now. Oh, more Guards around there from Korean army. The assault gunners are not going to win at this range even behind the heavy cover. Somehow the counter-attack end up retreating. We still there's 2 Guards from squad here, firing down there. Not doing good for the assault grenadiers. They're doing too little damage. And there we got one hell of a strike there on the grenadiers, almost bombing out the entire unit. Garzia continues to lay down lots of pressure here. Large infantry forces striking against each other. And there you go, another strike here, almost collapsing the entire house here, wiping out more than half, well, almost half the grenadiers actually. Quick grenade here versus the heavy mortar, doesn't do too much. Flamethrower there on the other hand does a lot. Largely closing. I think the heavy mortar might have been placed a bit too closer to the building. They need 3. Stuki is available here as a sort of quick course of action versus Korean army if he fancies. Could do a bit of damage there versus the infantry. The troops are rapidly reinforcing.
Are securing our territory.
Rapidly. What are you building?
The enemy is attempting to steal
What
our
are you
sector.
covering?
You need something built? Blown up?
Still Garzia struggling with map control here, but he's at least doing more damage now, though surprisingly still no light machine guns from any of the grenadiers. We would have figured he'd gotten some. And now, 13 minutes into the game, he actually gets an MG42. That certainly took quite a bit of while there to actually get a support weapon. This is definitely some less than usual Wehrmacht play, at least from our perspective here, from Garzia.
That's it. Fully reinforced.
And he's certainly feeling the brunt of it.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Grenadiers pushing up the street here. With the assault guns here closing up and holding things here. Counter-attack rushing into it. That gives the assault guns a bit of a chance. The mortar going off. There we go, closing further in. Assault guns here actually have a chance to do damage. Mortar going down, wrecking the poster thing, and well, also nearby house. Pioneers counter-attack from the north, going fighting on the right. Flank mortar likely going off there as well. Flammenwerfer. Mortar straight in front. The Pioneers do not fall into that trap. With another squad flying up the there, MD42 setting up to prevent any counterattacks from here, it would seem. Good job there, or at least reinforcements. We're almost getting the country squad there. Some pretty heavy infantry fights here. This is Definitely. You need to find also got a light machine gun and some of the grenadiers. Gutes Arbeitleute. He could consider adding in some panzer grenadiers into the mix if he wants. And for once, he's the one with the building. For once, he's the one with the building.
Enemy is gaining a foothold.
And there goes counter stop by the MD-32. Garzia continues to pour through the cracks. Field point is still heavily contested on both sides. With heavy harassment there, taking and whatnot. And what could Garzia be planning? Is he simply playing for a Tiger tank due to sort of the poor start, hoping that just saving up for it will in the end redeem him? And showing he had a bit of punch there versus the Russians. Who knows, but at the same time you can also see it's starting to look like Koreanarmy is playing for the same thing with T-3045s. Funniest there was the Flammenwerfer burning evasive pesky communists. Veterans who finished that and 15 kills, that's a jolly good job there. Albeit the Russians might disagree. A field gun up here, Koreanarmy perhaps be worried about any sort of, you know, Stu E-rush. Certainly a possibility. And now we do see panzer gunners here arriving, so that's a ton of infantry. A ton of infantry. Good lord. I mean, we're talking 7 infantry squads here for Garzia. That is highly irregular and certainly unorthodox. I don't think I've ever seen that much infantry in quite a bit of a while here. Certainly not from the Wehrmacht. There's the Russians. Rough grenades going off there. That's all good to do. And there go, they actually gain Veterans U1 and then they gain a quick retreat. MD-40 here with some grenadiers and support guarding this place here. Very interesting. Oh, they are pointing to the wrong way, Helmut. But it's a very well-guarded building, I suppose. Perhaps it's moving the way forward to Sturmgewehrs. Firing away here, and there you go, quick Molotov. Ah! Dieter was caught! And there you go, Garzia taking up in the corner cafe, constantly up there, grenadiers counter-attacking. Light machine guns more on the way here for Garzia. Lots of infantry again, I mean, crazy stuff. Mine went off there, almost wiping up the grenadiers with a light machine gun. That's a rather close shave.
We are losing a sector.
Troops moving into the centre, the heavy mortar continue to fire down, firing into the slopes behind. Pack 40 here, covering versus any enemy armor rush. And there you go, concentrating straight into the LMG right there as well. Heavy machine gun fire, heavy fighting. This town is certainly embattled. Troops getting suppressed there. Molotovs going off. So there we go, so Flammenwerfer once more quickly dispatching a lot of combat engineers. Rather, oh, he didn't get to wipe them out. And looks like the MD-42 got wiped out as the building collapsed under heavy mortar fire there from Royal Trilling Mortar. The first infantry division was, as the name indicates, with East Prussian there, actually formed in East Prussian from East Prussian troops. And again, that was actually a common thing for the Germans to do through a larger part of the war. And before it, basically divisions were formed from around regions, which rather for them gave the units a lot more internal coherency, which overall benefits a unit. So, little fun fact there. Barely got out of the cafe in time before the entire thing blew up.
We are suffering losses.
And then the grenadiers, the one man who made it out, there was cut down retreat. He could actually have gone here through the back building, sort of snuck in and then gone out the door there, but it's not something a lot of people consider. And it's certainly not something I actually think about more sort of often, but I mean, it's worth pointing out. It's worth pointing out. And there you go, veterans running for the heavy mortar. 11 kills, veterans who won. Punishment and violence. Garzia's infantry forces are slowly beginning to bleed out again. Still needs to be close with that. Careful with that proximity with each other.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
The country go down. Cut the Germans, get a small victory. Run, Yuri, run! And there we go. He did not run fast enough. Clearly he was a counter-revolutionary. And the Pioneers again at work. Molotov going off on them though. And wiped out, I fear. Molotov's going down the advancing Patriots and Pioneers as well. Lots of fire, lots of death. And time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation is the map is definitely going back and forth in terms of damage and kills. It's already pretty grim. Both sides are taking a heavy toll on each other. They're reasonably close though, with a slight advantage to Garzia, but still in the heavier end of things. And again, it's pretty much all infantry with a few support weapons. There's been no vehicles, no armor, no nothing. But he's getting closer to being calling the target. He just needs a bit more manpower. And for Garzia, though, again, the problem is a bit, he's running all over the place, but he's not really establishing a bit of a safe zone. On the other hand, of course, it's a bit tricky to do so with the heavy mortars, but at the same time, it's not saying trying to rush it, for example, using the assault guns maybe with a quick sprint, then getting close and popping some grenades or something like that. I mean, he should try to maybe, try and focus that out and clear them out or somehow surround the units. And we do note Korean army is also getting a bit thinly. So, I mean, a few hits with assault troops in the right places could do a lot of damage to Korean army that way. And certainly it's a bit risky at the same time to play for the Tiger. Part of me would have liked to have seen something before that, a Stugi or an assault group, or, get some panzers out of more regular kind. For that matter, he could also consider getting out a fuel cat to sort of, at least help alleviate the fact he's been having trouble holding the fuel himself. Or, mines. He's surprisingly low on mines. And that could prove dangerous. Also noting his only real anti-tank option at the moment is a Pack 40. He could of course improvise with some Panzers because they're creating with the Panzerschrecks when the time comes, but beyond that, it's a bit short on matters for dealing with that. For Korean army, things are going to be very close to the T-3045s. He just needs a bit of manpower. So of course, he's going to hit with the armor as well soon. He's also got infantry. He's also been bleeding out a bit, but overall, I mean, there's a reasonable amount of equivalency there. At the same time, though, he's sort of rushing about. Again, he's not really trying to hold any territory. For example, not laying down any mines. He could, further mines, he could drag in and, cause more casualties to Garzia's troops. And again, for him, playing for the T-3045 could have been a bit risky. But again, he's like his opponents aiming for the target. So again, there's basically this interregnum of infantry where, until the armor arrives, there's actually no armor at all. Sort of. And again, in that regard, they could end up badly for either player. Had the other one sort of actually gone for some armor in the meanwhile. I mean, they're sort of, a bit worried, but in the end, I mean, again, that's a bit the problem with some players when it comes to the metagame. They both stick to just the call-ins. Though again, for Garzia, considering the map control, I mean, it is common for a struggling Vanmark player to just save up for the Tiger. And of course, for a dominant sort of player to just save up for T-3045s. But, I mean, again, had Garzia maybe thrown in a single flak panzer before that, I mean, he probably could have done a lot more damage to Korean army. Maybe, of course, Korean army would have to change up his strategy a bit. Just a thought, though, just a thought. But otherwise, again, he should consider, securing territory a bit more and something being a bit more, focused at times. So at the same time, he's only doing some damage. But again, he's beginning to struggle. He's beginning to, get hit harder as the light machine guns, the panzer grenades, and everything else is beginning to hit back harder with a proper jackboot to the face. Anyways, back here to the fight. Back to the fight.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
And soon the tank parts are about to happen. Heavy mortar there falling back.
Ready for combat.
And there we go, T-3045's moving out. Not sure if this was the sort of early variant or the later variant, though. Basically, sort of for the war, two variants of the T-35, sort of minor variations, I think, or modifications. Then there was a sort of Cold War variant that was sort of modern or modified. Like that, modernized. There we go. Guys need to get away though. They're about to get crushed here beneath the might of the Soviet armor. Panzerwaffen off, damage then, get him all to their strikes down to T-35, though no damage really inflicted. Pack 40 now needs to be ready here to fight, and there we go though, Tiger moving vorwärts. Achtung, Achtung, schwerer Panzerabteilung, vorwärts. So there we go. T-35 they're coming in to fight from the Tiger, and he's taking him with the gun, Garzia is there buttoning it down, he's showing he can't quite operate as cleanly as it wants to. He's showing the T-35s they get away safely. Mark vehicle also on increasing damage, is with kits, and there you go. Field gun, T-35s there, Pack 40 setting up at the same time. A brutal engagement in the what remains of the village centre. I mean, most of the market square is gone, the buildings get collapsed, the cafe is a no-fare. Certainly a lot of the buildings are looking a lot less ruined, plus lots of the water collapse. I mean, there's not really a lot left there. Guys are taking hits, guards have been coming from the building. Field gun here looks like the Germans might try to secure it. Oh no, the assault guys lost a member right before they secured it. And he lost a squad on that. Tiger though continues to spy mark vehicles. Some real balls there on Garzia. Most players would have pulled back. Not Garzia. He just continues onwards. He sees marked vehicle as a challenge, not a threat. Ah, so you marked my vehicle, yeah. Well, try to shoot it down. I dare you, you Russian swine. Heavy mortar continues to deliver death from above. Veteran G2. Repairing the Tiger, and again, he's remaining in the center. I mean, he's not pulling it back for safe repairs, which is definitely high risk then. Definitely not what I'd recommend. And there you go, he's probably, looks like he's actually going to try and blast away at the field gun there from range. And there you go, he got it, Panzer's got, but it is fighting away. Gott im Himmel. Heavy mortar rounds going down there. On the remains of the shattered village centre. And the Tiger's already close to Veteran 1. Only one T-35 available for Korean Army now. One T-35. The other one blown apart. And the Tiger remains watchful over the centre. He's wrecking the field gun. He doesn't want anyone to be able to threaten his Tigers easily. Not a bad idea. And the Grenadiers fighting from the last safe building in the village centre. The town centre. Crazy fight. T-35 getting repaired there. Conscripts under fire from Grenadiers. Still reasonable amounts of infantry left for Korean Army. We could consider Stugi to sort of further pressure the infantry. Or he could take up and maybe get a Stug G or some Panzers or something else. More light machine guns to the Grenadiers will obviously go to the N4. Korean Army, certainly this initial rush had a slight issue with it. So of course, question is how will he adapt to this now? He's lost his field gun, he's replacing it. But now the Tiger's going to cause him a lot more problem. It's going to make things for him a bit more sort of harder to maneuver about, in particular with only one T-35 to flatten it for the time being. And there you go, we do see a Stug E arriving here. An assault gun mobilized from some reserve unit. Meant for training, but forced toward to the front. And now certainly also increasingly common as the war progressed, that Panzer training units would be formed in to sort of assault units and move forwards. It happened, for example, in Normandy, where two of them were actually formed into combat units. It also happened in the Baltics, where an SS training unit was actually formed into a Panzer brigade. So a little few fun facts there. He does need to be careful with it though. It's not exactly heavy armour.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
Tiger almost repaired. Combat's in a bit of trouble. Panzers continue to fight on. T-35 moving in. Fire going in, the field gun opening up. Mortar's in a bit of a perilous situation as well. Good lord, the Pioneers has suffered heavily. Oh dear, Pack got flanked. He must not properly set it up here. T-35 running up easily. Grenadiers moving up on the left flank. Stugi could also support it. He could actually clear out the field gun here pretty rapidly if he wanted. There you go, Panzerfaust. Stugi coming under fire there, but not from the field gun quite yet. And there you go, the field gun, what, in seconds there. Expert marksmanship there from the assault gun and the infantry supporting it. Looks like he's going to try and get it. Field gun cleared out, but again recruit. T-35 opening up. And there you go, cleared out again. Things are looking rather desperate here. Nice flank there on this side. Stugi though needs to pull back here for Garzia. Tiger moving ahead, and there we go, breaking another field gun, another heavy blow there to Korean Army, but he's closing in on able to call in another pair of T-35s. The armor on the other hand of Garzia though is in need of repairs once more. Pioneers won't be needed there.
The enemy is taking
But he's
what we
actually a
have
bit
secured.
running to run out of pioneers. You might want to get some more pioneers because otherwise it's going to take ages for example, to repair the Tiger and the Stugi. Victory point wise though, Garzia is noticeably behind.
We are losing territory.
And there go additional pioneers to arrive. That's good. That's good. Moving up the left flank, seeing as everything is on the right flank, including the Tiger, so he probably feels he's got a bit more freedom of movement and action on the left flank. Not a bad assumption there by Koreanarmy. Pulling the Stuki all the way back to the base. That's good. That's good. It shall be safe there for the time being. He's actually going straight after. He's going to do it. He gets the engine destroyed, but doesn't quite succeed in sort of getting further than that. It was a risky move. It might have worked. It could have worked, but it could also result in his unit getting wiped out there. So there go Tiger, almost combat ready. And closing in on Veteran C2. Achtung. T-35 here rolling through the bodies and the scrap and the debris. I think he's actually going to see if he can't knock down that Stugi, but he's about to get one hell of a surprise there. If he does try it, I think, you know, Garzia might have figured out the same here. Shifting over the Tiger. He's in fact pulling back from the village a bit here. Might not be the right time for that. Keep it while they're rolling about. He's not getting another one yet, it seems. Would have figured he'd gotten them by now. There you go, Tiger. Gefechtsbereit. Garzia's only been playing rather boldly with it.
Are attempting to capture our territory.
Can't take that away from him. The heavy mortar continues to be quite the psychological nuisance. Gunners overwhelmed on the right flank, and there you go. Man engagement over here. Panzerfaust maybe on the T-35. There we go. And I think as he's going to send his Tiger to finish it off. No? Oh, maybe? Yes? No? Oh yeah, there's a slight thing you have to remember. You have to stop your tanks no matter what, otherwise your pioneers can't repair it. So that's a very important thing to keep in mind. Stop! Issue the stop order right here. In fact, they'll be wasting time for a bit there trying to repair it. So that's definitely unfortunate there. So that partly ties up the pioneers, but also the Stugi. T-35 they come in the fight, closing in eventually to itself, but it might be too late now. But there we go. T-35 is to the rescue. Tiger, it's on its own. It's on its own. He's going there. He's probably going to try and get another damage engine on it. Failed. Really, you idiot. And there you go, he got the T-35. The other two of those starting into the centre there where the things are open. Tiger pulling back there, very close to increase range and decrease scatter. Over here to Garzia. Lots of shots going there, Pack 40 moving in.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Good shot there on the T-35. He still keeps moving it. Just stop. There we go. Now it's finally stopped and he can finally begin repairing it. He probably wasted a minute or two on that. Grenades out too close to the T-35 taking. There we go. Veteran G2. Guardian, we should be very careful now. It's going to have a better chance of wiping them out. Except if it misses. Scheisse Heights. And there you go though. Gets one of the guardsmen. They are getting bled out there. And wiped out. T-35 moving in. There we go, the Tiger is a beast. Certainly isn't helping that Korean army is perhaps taking a bit lightly. And certainly this town is beginning to look increasingly ruined, or at least the western parts of it are. Good job though from Korean army keeping up the pressure on the right flank, still denying that territory to him. T-35s they're getting repaired. Garzia constantly moving ahead. Firing through the alley there, some conscripts. And then, well, wrecking the alley. No issues there, it would seem. Only to make a turn in it. Gott in Himmel. Where did you learn to drive? Baden, Baden? Or something, I don't know. Ooh, Grenadiers there stealing a DP, making off with it. And there you go, the Tiger gets off an excellent hit on the Guards infantry, leaving more rather painfully racked and wrecked. T-35 striking up there on the right flank where the Tiger is. Good approach there, good approach. And the Pack 40 still pointing in the wrong direction. Jürgen there might want to consider getting some glasses if he keeps mistaking houses for tanks. Another field gun there for Korean army.
Our opponents are seizing
A bit more anti-tank. Garzia really needs to do something about this victory point to hold them. Organise a slightly more sensible defence, I think. A few units are spread out, that could actually be something the Tiger could have a chance of overpowering, and there we go. Korean army splitting up his assets, knowing he can't win or one engagement here, so against a chance of deal up to two, where at least he has a chance of winning one of them due to the tanks, it would seem. And there you go, one hell of a hit on the Grenadiers. Tiger moving over towards the right hand side where things are sort of larger. Tiger moving away. Now Garzia does seem to be getting a bit more unsure of things.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Another assault up the left flank. And there you go, T-35 hints from front of the Pack 40 and the Tiger. Going after the Stuki, getting off some good hits there. He'll probably get it. There goes Stuki, out of control. Heavy loss there for Garzia. Infantry continues the actions up the right flank and the left. Garzia's forces all of a sudden find themselves so extended, vulnerable there to the tanks. While Garzia seems to have a bit of an issue actually sort of figuring out where does he want to use his Tiger. It's actually becoming a bit dangerous for him. As he's now just standing about, you know, it's a Vetchi 2 Tiger, which could quickly clear out a lot of the infantry that Korean army possesses if he wanted to, but he doesn't seem to know what he wants to do. And that's a dangerous amount of hesitation there from him. And one that Korean army seems very much happy to take advantage of. Good job, Panzerfahrzeug there. Tiger opens up. Halfway to Veteran 2-3. Pack 4 supporting and they're coming to fire. Field gun could be a problem, but the Tiger would probably clear that out, to be honest, with Veteran 2. And there you go, marked vehicle. Marked vehicle once more. Pack 40 firing there on the T-35. He should probably have a T-35 ready to strike up the right flank, but he doesn't. And there you go, field gun getting cleared out. Heavy mortars though punish Garzia's infantry viciously. And he keeps on getting more Grenadiers. Large infantry up there to clear out the right flank. Not enough support there from Garzia's troops. And they got the second Tiger arrives. A second Tiger. Quick button grenade. Garcia almost at full pot camp now. With 2 Tigers now supporting his endeavours. That's definitely going to be problematic. Now taking down the T-35. Closing in on Veterancy 3 and a higher rate of fire. Well, looks like the Korean Army could soon be getting another pair of T-35s. Chesrolio, it's again beginning to shrink out, and again the Tiger seems to be sort of held in a more passive holding pattern, which again I don't think is really helping out too much.
The enemy is taking our territory.
But again, Korean Army sort of got to maintaining the map pressure here, the map control. Looks like he's sending the Tigers out to play. Bit lucky there for the Guards infantry. They did not get plastered to the walls there with high explosive fire. Counterattack up the right flank. Panzer's Grenadiers versus the Crunch, they're forcing them away. And there we go, a few more moments. T-35 will arrive. Would be a Contra is about to get into a world of hurt there. He's sending the Tigers head on their own. No support. Splitting up further. You got 4 T-30-45s now. Turning one around, exposing its rear to the enemy side. Oh dear, Contra's got wiped out, but there you go. The assault is in. Tiger there taking heavy hits to the rear. Bad move there by Garzia. Bad tactical decision. Only makes things easier for the T-35s. One Tiger there getting blasted. He should have turned it around, but he still moves with the rear exposed. Absolutely dreadful there. Other Tiger now exposed. Not enough sufficient support for the other Tiger. Now that's just getting pummeled as well. One massive tactical mistake right there from Garzia, and all of a sudden the floodgates are open. The advantage he's sought for so long to actually gain has been removed in an instant there. But one very bad mistake there by Garzia. And now he's just getting swept off the map here by Korean Army. And there we go. He's barely got an infantry left himself, but he's only got tons of tanks. And there's nothing here that Garzia can now do to stop him. He's not got the resources. It's basically GG. Speeding this out a bit. There you go, GG. And there we go, game over. Definitely not your usual kind of companies to fight. Lots of infantry from the Germans, lots of infantry from the Soviets. Both, I mean, it's not uncommon to see them play for the Doctrine Army, but just not the amount of infantry we saw there from Garzia. I mean, that was sort of the odd thing out, and barely no support weapons. I mean, that was weird. The Haymords also proved to be quite vital in that regard here for Korean Army, laying down a lot of pressure there upon Garzia. The problem really came that while Garzia was eminently, handling his Tiger initially, as it came to apart, became passive, wasn't sure where to use it, which overall gave Korean Army more breathing space. But then when the time finally came, he split them up and also then made the mistake of turning the rear towards the enemy, and then when the attack came, he didn't turn it around. He just kept exposing the rear, making things easy for the T-35s were quickly swept away, and then there's only one Tiger left, and then it was swept away, and that was everything collapsing. And there'd been no mines or anything, nothing sort of slowed down this armoured steamroller. So I mean, just in a few seconds, one mistake there basically threw everything away for Garzia. I mean, certainly, even with, if you hadn't done that, things could have gone badly, but certainly the Tigers would be able to strike off more shots, and they certainly would be able to fire better. Plus, I mean, also, you know, setting on its own on there, a dangerous move, dangerous move. So, in some regards, you can fight there with a very sort of quick turnaround end there for Koreanarmy. So, I mean, I think that sort of, you know, overall largely covers it. I mean, I think, you know, Garzia had done something a bit differently, some more support weapons, or just teched out a bit further, you know. He might have done a bit better. Overall, you know, it was sort of light use of his doctrine, and, you know, light usage overall of his teching. So, I mean, in that regard, I think that was sort of one of the issues for Garzia as well. Koreanarmy was sort of able to handle that and manage well. You know, keeping up the map pressure quite solidly, controlling the map for quite a longer period of time. And certainly had, you know, again, you know, been challenged in that regard. You know, had something else happen, you know, Koreanarmy would have been a lot weaker, but again, it never quite happened. So in that regard, you know, to a certain extent, while there was some out there from Garzia's metagame, to a certain extent, the late game metagame was the same. And in that regard, you know, Koreanarmy in the end won out. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. If you did, want to subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. If not, you know, send in a replay and provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers and thank you all for watching. Bye.